When people talk, listen, man, I'm going to raise that red flag.
This narrative, especially after 1 year, one bad year, it's one big splash move. And because I don't think people understand how much cap space we can create.
Alex, I want to ask you, because you're a very humble person.
And I'm never going to be right about anything.
Yeah.
I was right.
What's up, everybody? I am back again, and I felt like kind of like a downer lately, and I felt like I've had like a lot of input of what I'm saying, and a lot of what I want to do is about analytics and mathematics and how you get to a place based on certain ways to look at things. So today I thought I would do something that totally kind of takes me out of the picture, like just me as a human element to anything. I put no effort at all from me as an unknown variable, right? As a something that can affect an outcome that shouldn't be tampered with, basically. So what I did is I'm doing the draft, and before I kind of tackled it from the point of view of what premium positions are and putting those positions specifically at the reason why you draft there, right? So draft to the area that the pick usually would be. Like say that analytics say that the second wide receiver goes off at pick 8, like the Panthers. That's what we should do. So for this, I decided to look at it differently. So here's what I did. I took the last 6 years because I'm just am doing that. I'm taking 6 years of data from 2019 because that's just the year I chose, which is really weird. But I took the last 6 years. And I took all the first rounders and I collected all the data and I said, how many were picked in each class, right? So for quarterbacks in this class, one in this class, blah, blah, blah. And so coming up with a number that should be picked in that specific class. So say that is 3, right? There should be 3 quarterbacks taken in a class. And I give myself a 2-pick buffer. So I can't take more than 5 and I can't take below 1, right? That's basically what I did. What I also did was say, I can't draft a player when that player has never been drafted that high ever. So for example, Will Campbell could go like the 3rd pick, but the 3rd pick has never been an offensive tackle in the last 6 years. So I can't use Will Campbell there because we haven't seen an offensive tackle drafted that high in the last 6 years. I also said, if the player is drafted first, I have to wait till at least the same, it's basically the same argument for the 2nd pick. So say for tight ends, in 2019, TJ Hawkinson was drafted at 8th, but Noah Fant wasn't drafted till 20 at tight ends. So I can't do 8 and 9 tight ends. I have to wait till 20 because that's the best tight end class that's happened in the last 6 years. So that's what I've done, right? So I've taken all that data and I've said, these are my standards that I have to meet. Then I go to an independent site, PFF, and I take the 3 biggest needs per team. And every single pick that I take has to be one of those needs, right? So just jumping in, because I feel like it's harder to explain than it is to just kind of go through it. So I went through the top 50 of Daniel Jeremiah's big board because everybody, it's a standard saying that Daniel Jeremiah is probably the best at this of anyone. And that's who I chose. So I chose Daniel Jeremiah. I chose PFF for needs, and I chose my own mathematical data, basically. But it's data that is real. Like, it's not like I wasn't able to adjust it at all. I just used the actual data from the last 6 years. So number 1 on Daniel Jeremiah's big board is Abdul Carter, who is an edge. Well, the Titans have edge as one of their needs based on PFF. So they're going QB, offensive tackle, and edge. Well, in the last 6 years, there has been an edge that's been drafted at number 1. So I can use Carter there. So my number 1 pick in this draft is Abdul Carter. 2, the Browns need quarterback, offensive tackle, and running back. Well, I can't use running back because a running back hasn't been drafted in the top 2 in the last 6 years. I can't pick offensive tackle because an offensive tackle hasn't been picked in the top 2 picks for the last 6 years. So I have to pick quarterback. So the number 1 quarterback is Cam Ward. And he's number 10 on Daniel Jeremiah's board. So now I feel like you're starting to get it now. So I'm kind of going to go a little bit faster. So I'm going Ward at number 2. Giants need quarterback, offensive tackle, and cornerback. Well, what we would assume is that it would be Sanders because they need a quarterback, but they need a cornerback. And Stingley was chosen at number 3 a few years ago. So according to Daniel Jeremiah, Jahdae Barron is the 9th highest graded player, and Sanders is the 11th. So I'm picking Barron right here, the number 3 pick. So right now I'm Carter, Ward, Barron. 4, we have the Patriots, and at guard, 4 we have the Patriots, and they need guard, offensive tackle, wide receiver. Well, Travis Hunter is the number 2 highest graded player, so I'm choosing him for wide receiver, and he's going 4th. Jags have center, guard, and defensive tackle. So then I'm going Mason Graham right here at 4. Raiders have quarterback, wide receiver, running back. The highest graded there is Sanders, so he's going to be my 6th pick. And then Jets need quarterback, defensive tackle, and cornerback. So the next pick is Will Johnson. So at cornerback, so Will Johnson is my number 7 pick. So the Panthers need a defensive tackle, an edge, and a cornerback, according to PFF. I think they need receiver, but I'm not a part of this. I'm going by PFF. So then Jalen Walker is the Panthers pick at number 8. What's good about that is that Jalen Walker is my number 3 betting favorite to be the pick here. He's also number 6 on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. He's also played at Georgia, which is the team that Dan Morgan listed when he said what kind of player he wanted. He wanted a player from a winning organization, and he used Georgia as an example. So that kind of just gives me an eyebrow raise for what I think for the future for the Panthers. And then I'm just going to go down this list and I'll post them all because I don't think that you guys are going to care enough for me to give all the information. So I had Jalen Walker at 8, Tyler Warren at 9, Ashton Jeanty at 10, Will Campbell at 11, Ted McMillan at 12, Tyler Booker at 13, Mikael Williams at 14, Jaheed Campbell at 15, Kenneth Grant at 16, Derek Harmon at 17, James Pierce at 18, Mike Green at 19, and just like I said before, that I had to, because Loveland could have gone way early because he's Daniel Jeremiah's 7th highest graded player. So Colston Loveland could have gone early because he's Daniel Jeremiah's 7th highest grade player. But like I said, I have to go with historical data. And I had to wait until the Fant pick, which was 20. So he's going to at 20th to the Broncos. Then I go to Steelers at 21, and they get Matthew Golden, wide receiver. Chargers at 22 get Emeka Egbuka. Packers at 23 get Shamar Stewart. Vikings at 24 get Walter Nolan. Texans at 25 get Luther Burden. Rams at 26 get Josh Simmons. Ravens at 27 get Josh Connerly. Lions at 28 get Donovan Ezeruku. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but maybe I am. Not sure. Commanders at 29 get Azariah Thomas. Bills at 30 get linebacker Carson Schweissinger. Eagles at 31 get guard or interior offensive lineman Armand Membo. And Chiefs at 32 get Joshua Farmer. Now, one thing that you notice about this whole draft is that Malachi Starks isn't there. Well, safety isn't a position that's being drafted. The last 2 years, safeties didn't get drafted in the first round. And they never get drafted in the top 10 like we think they are. So there's a big chance that Malachi Starks drops. And a big thing is that there's only 2 quarterbacks taken. That's the least amount since Kenny Pickett's year. There's 2 more defensive tackles that have been drafted as an average. There's 2 more defensive ends that have been drafted as an average. We're right on target with our cornerbacks, wide receivers, linebackers, running backs, and interior offensive line. So this is a very, very realistic draft. And we got Jalen Walker at 8. So there's a chance that I'm higher on this wide receiver class than I thought, because Daniel Jeremiah isn't high on them. And I'm not a scout. But I do know it's a premium position. But talent is talent, need is need. And the first 10 picks, only 3 need a wide receiver. We'll see. I still think that there are going to be 2 in the first 10 picks, but I took my objective opinion completely out of it. But I'm glad that the Panthers got Walker, because he's number 3 of my betting favorites. And I'll look more into it. There's a chance I might change it up. I might put him up at number 8, but I still think it's going to be wide receiver. But reports are Garrett Wilson's asking out. And I don't have much faith in our front office, but I don't know. It's kind of starting to look like it's starting to look like they are run by people that are doing what the fans want them to do instead of doing what's smart. And the fans want them to draft an edge or a defensive tackle. So I gotta think that's what they're gonna do. So I might change my pick for number 8. We'll see. But I'm glad it's one of the 3 that I have in my picks, and I'm glad I got off of Malachi Starks, because as far as putting together PFF and Daniel Jeremiah, Malachi Starks doesn't get picked. All right, cool. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Peace.